Hello gamers, a little bit different video, but we're just gonna do it real quick, just to get the rant out of the way, because this is, by the title you can probably feel like, know where I'm going with this video. Just like, I feel that the Helldivers community is kind of bitching about like shit too much. I mean, like, cause Arrowhead is a small team on 100 people. They literally like worked on this dead game, or a dead engine, with this game on on it, and just decided like, do you know what, we're just gonna keep on doing small details, other shit that other people don't really like care or enjoy about, but I feel like that's what made Helldivers like great. But I guess what people aren't like up to date with is like the small company life service model, because even though, you know, a lot of shit's like buggy and always has been jank, even since day one, when literally like there just weren't enough servers to compensate for the amount of people that it blew up towards. Because yeah, I hate to break it to you guys, because no one heard of Helldivers 1, and even I like didn't play like a whole lot of it, I will admit. It was a pretty fun game, and it had the most minute details that I like ever like seen. Like, it was what I would imagine like the perfect military sim would be if it was a first person. And now Helldivers 2 came out, and it just like that has like been the reality, and that's what just exactly what I've been playing. However, you just like, I guess it just isn't enough for some people that have been like drip fed like AAA like standards of budgeting and like staff. But like, again, 100 people, they're slowly working on everything, they're still going through everything, and I'm hearing like these arguments of like people coming back from vacation, and it's just not good enough apparently.
And in the case of Helldivers 2, with how open communication has been between them and their fans, they haven't taken any action. And I don't know if they will. In response to further outrage from the Helldivers community, Shams took to Discord yet again to respond saying, I haven't spoken to everyone, of course, but many of us are disappointed on a few levels. On the one hand, the update had a bunch of nice stuff that aren't getting talked about, maybe deservedly so, as many aren't happy with the latest balance round. I think more broadly, it has us discussing the path ahead and what we can do to avoid the situation again, i.e. internal learnings, more changes in process, etc. I think a lot of you fairly pointed out, WTF, we went through this earlier in the year, why are we here again? And I hate sounding like a broken record, but A, we have long lead times on development, i.e. what you see in the game is the result of weeks and months of development work. Some changes take time before they show. B, not a whole lot of time has passed between now and the June balance round, and most people are still on vacation. We still need to improve a lot in understanding what players want and marry that with the development process. We want every release to be a step in the right direction. Constant improvement. I don't think we feel this was that, so we need to do better. But it's also clear to me that just talking isn't enough. Actions matter. You and the developers are upset because there's a lot of nice things in the update that aren't getting talked about. Well, the players are upset because they can't enjoy those nice things in the update because the studio has consistently made the game less fun to play and just made it an overall worse experience. Responding to players talking about how you need to avoid this in the future, this is an internal learning and there needs to be more changes in your process, are all things that Arrowhead Studios has said in the past, and here we are again. For many, including myself, this is nothing other than empty promises. And at this point, I'm just waiting for the obligatory apology letter that's posted on Twitter. I have been incredibly light-handed when it comes to Arrowhead Studios as I've covered this game. I viewed them as a plucky developer, trying to do right by the players, making a few mistakes, but ultimately developing a really fun game and an incredibly united and positive community. With that said, I am now at the point where I don't believe that they understand or respect their audience the way that I thought they did. I viewed past actions from their developers, moderators, and community managers as just one-off occasions, but it's obvious that it's intrinsic to the studio. And I don't think that they have a firm hand on the wheel when it comes to the future of this game.
I don't know how you can like ignorantly say that so like blasé or just out in the open, but it just astonishes me, especially considering I don't know anything about like developing video games, but that shit seems pretty hard, especially considering you're literally contending with AAA titles that probably have double the team and triple the budget that you have, yet they just like flop immediately. But no, let's blame the 100 people that are, you know, maintaining their ship the best that they can, swapping in people out in and out, because they had changed like balancing team managers and all that. Now they're like gotta talk over everything and like how everyone wants it. But I guess that's just not good enough. It's not fast enough from what people want, or some crybabies on the internet would like. But you know what? Not fret not, because they are already working on it, like a lot of the crashes and shit. And I hate to break it to a lot of people as well, but you know, again, a small indie team, the only reason that like fucking like lasers and shit are fucking working as well as they are is because of the fire rework, and it just happened to be like an accidental glitch. So the fact that like they accidentally created a meta and people were like, oh, they made an accidental meta, what are they gonna do, Arrowhead? You made fun, what are you gonna do? It's like, well, it just kind of happened. They didn't happen to have the idea or plan to buff like lasers and all that shit, but it just happened to make them stronger because now the lasers catch stuff on fire. So with that also said, I kind of want to like point this out to people as like, if you want to use like the stuff so bad that like isn't like as strong, you can go on the lower levels and just fucking like play on those. I know that's like a little boring, but you know, if you want to like try out the new shit, like take whatever you want, whatever meme loadout you want, that's fine. No one really gives a shit. But like if you're going on to like Helldive or higher, and you don't bring a like a backpack for the bugs, you're gonna get. I hate to break it to you. So in conclusion, have more faith in Arrowhead Studios. Have a little bit more faith, because they haven't turned out as bad as the finals people and how they like utterly butchered that game. Not really listening at all to the community, but listening to the influencers that fucking control it. And, you know, even though it wasn't listening to any good influencers, it was literally just like listening to all the people that played the comp builds. But, you know, luckily we don't have to worry about that. The only thing we have to worry about is people making things so like overpowered that there is no challenge to the game anymore. Where you can bring whatever you want and come out practically unscathed, but you know, we live in a time of instant gratification. People want their cake and eat it too. They want overpowered shit without having the challenge to go with it. But I'm proud to say that I enjoy the Helldivers that we have. The slow build up instead of the immediate blowout.
This is the kind of thing that made me love Helldivers 2 after playing it for the first time, which I can summarize with, it may be super jank, but it's also super neato. And it turns out I wasn't wrong about it being a small developer making a game they love, because it was made by 100 people at Arrowhead Game Studios. I know you may be thinking that 100 people is not tiny at all, but if we're comparing it to the biggest developers in the world, it wouldn't even crack the top 50. And this is a game that sold 12 million copies and became Sony's fastest selling ever. Of course, Sony fumbled and disabled access to the game in a bunch of countries on their never-ending crusade to make sure that PS3 has no games, but I digress. Arrowhead is a tiny team that made a monster game, and the cherry on top is that they worked on it for almost 8 years using a dated, unsupported game engine called Stingray that was abandoned by Autodesk 6 years ago. The fact that this tiny team absolutely mogged the biggest developers in the world using a discontinued game engine make them look like the Tony Stark of game devs.
Tony built this in a cave with a bunch of scratch. It's true though.
It's getting hard for me to keep my head straight. Had a heavy heart, now I'm carrying dead weight. Digging my own grave, I did it my own way. I'm buried alive with all the shit that I don't say. It's deeper than 6 feet, I'm barely alive. My apartment is a coffin that I'm carried inside. And I'm coughing cause I'm off and off of various highs. Got me wondering, does anybody care if he dies?